Welcome back to Transaction Care. I am your host, Lillian Hernandez, and this is the #1 real estate show on the market. Are you subscribed? Are you a part of this wonderful, amazing community? If not, hit that subscribe button, join my newsletter. Let's do this. Let's connect together. Let's go. So this is one of my most requested videos. What programs do I use as a real estate transaction coordinator? So let's just get straight into it. I'm not going to waste any more time. So let's go. So as soon as I start a transaction, obviously I'm going to be using my email. So yes, I'm going to be breaking it down that simple. So I use Gmail. I think Gmail is the best email platform out there. I know some people still use Yahoo, AOL, Outlook. That's fine. But to me, Google has really refined their website and just created a space that is just connected to the entire internet. So point blank period, I use Gmail as my email hosting. And once I get a signed contract, whether it's a listing agreement or a ratified purchase agreement, then I move into my next steps, which is saving documents into my cloud system. So I use OneDrive, which is via Microsoft. It was free with my laptop when I bought it, so I just stuck with that. There was no rhyme or reason behind it. It was a part of a deal I got when I purchased my laptop a while ago. So I just stuck with it. Any cloud system is going to be fine, it's preference. So I could have used Google Drive. I could have used Dropbox. It's all preference. So there are other options out there. I prefer OneDrive, and I haven't had a problem with it other than space. After 4 years, I just purchased more space. So I think I paid for the annual fee. I didn't go monthly. So look into that. Consider that depending on how you operate as a transaction coordinator. A cloud service is going to be in your favor because you can save all of your personal documents in there as well, videos, pictures, whatever the case may be, along with your work. So Gmail, cloud system. And then I upload everything into whatever platform that brokerage uses. So all of my clients are different depending on which brokerage they work for. Some have their own platforms where they manage their files, house their files, meaning for compliance. Others don't. So that's where your cloud system comes into play, where you're having to manage the file yourself and house everything. And then at the very end, you send them a copy of the complete file. Or you use a program like SkySlope. So I've been using SkySlope for well over a decade. I used to use it at my previous employers, and now as an independent TC, I still use it. I personally do not have my own account because for me, it just doesn't make sense for the volume of work I currently have. And when a brokerage that I'm working with has an account already, I simply just ask the realtor for their login information or to somehow make me an admin. But for the most part, I just use their login and save it into a protected spreadsheet so I can access their login information later. The other option, like I said, is to house the file in your own safekeeping and providing copies as you go or at the end to the brokerage for compliance and payment. So we have Gmail, we have OneDrive, we have SkySlope, and what do I use to audit my files? This is the big key right here. So there are several other platforms. I can't name them all because honestly, in the 15 plus years, almost 2 decades of being a transaction coordinator, this was the first time I ever used a transaction coordinator auditing platform, whatever you want to call it. I just started using it this past year, 2022. Mind you, I started doing transaction coordination in 2004. These programs may not have existed, I don't know, but with a lot of work, through a lot of struggle and a lot of time management issues on my part and a lot of meetings with my coach. That's another video I will do, the importance of having a coach in your business. But through all of that, we had conversations about using certain programs such as TC Docs. And it was a little rough in the beginning because I was doing things wrong. That was my own fault for not watching every single video they had to offer. But once I got the hang of it, oh my God, TC Docs has been a world of a difference. This is the program I'm using today in 2022. Things may change. I may switch. I don't know. But for now, I highly recommend you using some sort of platform like this in order to keep track of your files, because how I was doing it before was all manually. Basically, the way TC Docs is set up is I had all of that in a Word document. And when you're using Word, it can be very tedious and very repetitive, and you find yourself doing the same things over and over again just to set up a file. Versus now that I'm using TC Docs, everything's already set up. I'm just plugging in the new terms. I'm not having to redo any of my templates or readjust any of my terms on the paper, or delete or remove. Like, I have full control within TC Docs, and their templates that they've built to coincide with my templates is amazing. They also have phases. They have it's wonderful. And my favorite part of it is the agenda. So it breaks down, it's separate. Unfortunately, it doesn't combine it yet. I asked, but basically you set up your file and you set up your templates to be assigned certain dates. So when you get a new transaction, say you want to audit your file every 7, 14, and 21 days. So once I select that template for, let's say, a sale, I set up 123 main in the system, and I basically add that template into my file. Of course, you can adjust the dates as needed, but say it's a 30-day regular sale, clean, nothing too fancy or nothing too outrageous. You basically just take that agenda and check off whatever you've completed on day one, acceptance date, money deposit, whatever the case may be. It just creates this checklist for you. And then all the tasks that you don't get to goes into your agenda. So you have this long form agenda where it breaks it down with due today. I think it's upcoming or arriving. Forgive me, I don't have it in front of me, but it breaks it down to like a look ahead, to where if you're ahead of schedule and you want to get things done, and when things are due, it combines all of your tasks into one, so you know exactly what to look for immediately, the next day, or ahead of schedule. And that has been my favorite part, because previously I was relying so much on this, as well as trying to make my Google calendars work in that favor. And it just wasn't working. I was creating more of a mess for myself, and now having one cohesive platform to house all that, to help manage my time, has been a world of a difference and such a time saver, to be honest. And I probably would have quit real estate if I had not started using a platform like TC Docs. And that's the only platform I'm familiar with. Comment below what you use to manage your files, because everyone's different. I know there are new programs developing as we speak, so I'm more than willing to try new options and whatnot. But for the most part, today I'm using TC Docs. Highly recommended. They have a great YouTube channel where they break down how to use certain features. And then, of course, once you join their program, there's a lot more videos and instructions and directions on the website to help you through that. And their customer service is amazing. You do speak with the owners, so they help you directly and they're very transparent and answer any questions you may have in the moment. So do your research and choose what works for you. Obviously, you can do free trials for any of these platforms and see what works best for your work style, your personality, your tech savviness, and go from there. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions about these specific programs. I'm more than willing to answer them, or at least direct you towards the answer if I don't have it in that moment. Because I know it could be very overwhelming when you're just starting out, or even when you're in it like myself and you introduce these new programs into your system, and you just kind of have to pause to make sure that they work great, that they work efficiently, and that you're not creating more of a mess for yourself. So with all of that said, I just say take your time, sacrifice a weekend so you're not as distracted or being pulled away answering emails. Like, sacrifice a couple hours, maybe a whole day or two, to get all of this in order, especially if you're brand new into this game, because this is the foundation that you're going to need in order to be successful. You're not going to want to have to think about this part of the job. You just want to be in it and do it and just keep going so you can, increase your business, expand, or, spend time with family. And these are just a few programs that I use. I'm trying to think of anything else that I use that keeps me efficient, but for the most part, those are what I use to stay organized. There's also DocuSign, HomeWise, Disclosures.io. I use Disclosures.io to house the listing packet. So here in the Bay Area, we do everything up front. We don't wait until there's a buyer. We do everything before. So pre-sale, meaning before it goes into contract, you have all of the information that the seller's provided, whether it's disclosures, reports, inspections, HOA documents, things like that, historical documents. It's all provided to you up front, and I use Disclosures.io. Well, it's formerly known as Disclosures.io, and I think now it's called HomeLight.com. So that's another program that I use as well. And like I mentioned, DocuSign, which connects to pretty much everything. I have my own DocuSign, and agents have also given me their logins as well, or found some way to make me an admin on the back end to access their accounts as well. And Glide. I sometimes use Glide. I don't always use it, but for the most part, it's a seamless way of sending the most important property specific disclosures to your clients. I believe you can also send other disclosures as well. You just have to, I think, create templates or somehow upload them and then manually tag them. I'm not quite sure. I either use ZipForms or whatever platform the brokerage has provided for me to use. So I don't use Glide exclusively for disclosures. If you find Glide to be useful in that way, let me know. Maybe I'll consider switching over. But for the most part, I only use it as requested. Not all agents prefer that. There are also ways to use DocuSign in your favor to create templates. Like I said, some brokerages have their own platforms where they have it all integrated into their system. So I just use that exclusively, or ZipForms, which is a program through CAR. I'm not sure if that's nationwide, but in California, through the California Association of Realtors, they have a platform where agents are also given access to ZipForms, which houses every California disclosure, or whatever county or district you are a paid member in. You have access to all of those disclosures and required documents there. So that's how I basically access the documents in that aspect. And I think that's it. If I come across anything else, I'll definitely do a part 2. I would love to just give as much information to all of you and share my process and how I do things. I know I tried to keep it as short as possible so you all could just absorb what I'm doing. But like I said, this is what I am doing from my end as a transaction coordinator. Most TCs operate differently and do things, maybe they have, they don't use SkySlope, and I think there's another company, Loop. I'm not sure. I'm not aware of every single real estate transaction company or file management service out there, but do your research. That's all I can really say. Use this as a guidance towards learning about these programs, or maybe switching if you've been accustomed to one way and you're interested in going in another direction. This is purely just for educational purposes only. Feel free to comment below what you are using and all the programs you are using, because I want to use my platform to help others and not so much gatekeep all of this information. We're all going to find out one way or another. Why not just find out all in one place from one person or a group of people within the same community? Let's help each other out and let's grow together. Let's connect. And like I said, comment below what you're using and we can build together and run amazing businesses. Because why not? Because why not? So I'm rambling. I will end it here. If you want a part two, I can do that and get into maybe more specifics of the nuances in terms of programs I use to order HOA documents or to order certain reports, inspections, if that is asked of me. But let me know if you do want a part two. I'm more than willing to do that. And whatever topics you do want me to talk about, let me know. I would definitely work on all of that. I have a lot of videos coming up, so please hit that subscribe button or follow button depending on where you are watching or listening. I truly, truly appreciate it. And if we have connected on social media, hi. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I love TikTok. Twitter, not so much. I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm active pretty much across all social media platforms. You know, whichever one is your favorite, add me on there. Either Lillian Hernandez or Transaction Care. You could find me. Just search it. I'm there, and say hi. I would love to chat, discuss, maybe have you on the show, and share the wealth. So with all of that said, thank you for tuning in. Your time is worth it. Let's connect. See ya.